No nonsense gin drinking. All gin, no nonsense.
Hello gin lovers, welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman. Guten Tag, Dankeschön, ich bin das Gin Taster. And if you haven't guessed already from that extraordinary display of expert German, this is another German gin tasting special. So my friends, let me introduce you to Albfink gin. And as you can see, it's come in a rather beautiful little presentation box, which doesn't happen very often. So let me do a lovely little reveal for you. Here we go. Excellent sound effects as usual there, and have a look at this little fellow, my friends. Oh, it is a yellow gin. Well, that's not obviously the technical name for it, but I can reveal to you, my friends, this is the first gin on my show, apart from that American special one, where we're going to be featuring a barrel-aged gin, which was actually sent to me by one of my patrons, whose name is Marike, which I always pronounce incorrectly. So Marike, thank you very much for sending this, and I am looking forward to getting quite literally stuck into it for you and everybody else today. So then, let's have a look on Das website, shall we? Now, I'm not going to do the German accent because it just becomes ridiculous and sort of drifts into all sorts of different sort of offensive versions of many languages. So I'm just going to do it on my own one, but as usual, sprinkling a few Das and, what's the other word? Das, and there's another one that I always like, a German word. What is it? Oh yeah, und. So here we go. Das Albfink aged gin reveals its secret in every glass. Aging over many months gives it a unique combination of elegant sweetness from the wood combined with the pure freshness of the gin. The subtle taste of juniper berries combines in an incomparable way with the vanilla and the honey aromas from the bourbon barrel, or Das Bourbon barrel. Putting Das gin into a bourbon barrel and storing it for over 8 months is a rarity and a special pleasure. So then, this is going to be a real kind of step into the unknown here, because as I say, I've never done the barrel-aged gins before, but when I was planning to get to it, obviously, because I think it's kind of a nice way to sort of bridge the gap between bourbon, whiskey and gin. So my friends, let's not fanny around anymore. Let's crack the fellow open and have a good old sniff. Okay, I had a bit of trouble getting that plastic off now, but it's off, so we have no cork test today, unfortunately, and it's pretty cold in here, so I can't get any purchase. There we go, I got her open. So then, now this, I can't wait for this, because it's going to be sort of gin, but sort of gin in a very, very different way. So here we go. Let's have a sniff of the old barrel-aged gin. So, oh, whoa, I tell you what, I have to be honest, I'm not the biggest whiskey drinker or bourbon drinker. In fact, I don't drink it at all. So I was a little bit nervous as to what the smell would be like, because I find the smell of whiskey and bourbon a little bit kind of, whoa, it's a bit harsh for me, but it's a real finely balanced sort of combination of gin with it's more gin. It's definitely gin, a sort of a bourbon sort of flavoured gin than a gin flavoured bourbon, or a mix of the two. Because what I'm getting there is your classic gin sort of aroma, but just with a beautiful waft of something stronger and more sort of a bit harsher. I say sort of bourbon's a little bit harsher for me personally anyway, but with a beautiful kind of, definitely unmistakable sort of element of honey in there. A beautiful soft sort of aroma, sweet but soft. I'll tell you what, this is going to be exciting. So I say to my friends, let's not mess around. Now, I always forget to try it neat, but this one, I guarantee you, I 100% try it neat, but I am going to try it with tonic first, as it is primarily a gin. So let's give it a go. Whack a bit in there, shall we? Not too much, we don't want to drown it. About sort of 50-50. So here we go, my friends. Albfink gin barrel aged, the first barrel aged on No Nonsense Gin Drinking. I say cheers. What's German for cheers? Hey Siri, what's German for cheers?
In German, cheers is Prost.
Prost. I wasn't expecting that, but here we go. I say to you, my German friends, Prost. Oh. Okay then. How can I explain it? How can I explain it? There's so much going on. There's so much going on. It was a real journey from start to finish. The smell, by the way, it works very well with the tonic. I'm going to try it neat, but it works excellently with the tonic. It releases those aromas and tastes in a way that the neatness doesn't. But what do you get? What do you get? You get the sort of, within the aroma, it amplifies, just before when you take that last sniff before you get it in the mouth, it amplifies the sort of the bourbon quality about it. But as soon as it hits your tongue, so you're getting sort of a cloud of bourbon in the nasal cavities. Then when it hits the tongue, you get just a beautifully sort of wonderful taste of a masterfully crafted gin. A gin which you think, yeah, that is good. They know what they're doing. They've got all the classic flavors in perfect harmony. Then it flips back to the kind of the bourbon-esque sort of quality as it sort of goes into your mouth and you take a bit of oxygen, and it flows around, but only sort of, I'd say it's kind of 30% bourbon, 70% gin, and the bourbon just kind of wafts around there in a very delicate kind of way, which is perfect for me, as I say, because I'm not used to drinking whiskey or bourbon, however you say it. And as I say, it's a real long journey, because next in the queue is, with that sort of swashing around the bourbon, is a beautiful sort of long, sort of mellowing slick of soft and delicate honey. Not too sweet, but kind of just the right amount to sort of work well with the bourbony sort of flavours. And then at the end, when you swallow, you get this incredible aftertaste of almost a sort of a headiness to it. Again, a mixture of that honey, a mixture of all three, to be honest. The sort of the sharpness of the gin, the sort of more the heaviness of the bourbon, but then this beautiful melding of the two with the honey. And I tell you what a journey it was. And one of the common themes on this show, which comes up again and again, my regular viewers will know, is balancing the flavors. And my goodness, there were a lot of flavors to balance in here, but the guys at Albfink, they have done a masterful job. Absolutely. All that, because some flavors are up there, some are down here, some are in the middle, some are sort of coming in from over there and over that. They've literally sort of brought them all in, turned some, just fiddled about, tweaked them a little bit. Some sort of were up there, they brought them down, and they're just it must have taken so long to do this, but they've just hit them bang on. And for me, I think the key thing, sort of the one binding element to bring all these sort of hugely sort of contrasting sort of elements together, is the honey. It just seems to be the expert sort of element in here, which is just holding everything together, the glue that binds them all together. And I tell you what, it would take a little bit of getting used to for me, because it is very, very different and a step to that sort of bourbon territory, which is very unfamiliar to me. But it's a step I've very much enjoyed taking, and I'm very much looking forward to taking the next one. And as promised, I didn't forget today, I am going to try it neat. And this is going to be quite an experience, I think. So here we go. Excuse me drinking out the bottle. A bit more, I think. Okay. Yeah, as always, I'm still not converted to the whole neat drinking thing yet. You get a lot more bourbony taste, really big. The gin seems to sort of fade into the distance when you do that. So I would guess if you are a hardened neat bourbon drinker, you would probably really enjoy that. And indeed, if you're a hardened neat gin drinker as well. It's just, to me, again, I think because it is essentially a gin, those flavours are still released and sort of made slightly more enjoyable and discernible by adding the tonic. But as I say, if you are a neat gin drinker or a bourbon drinker, give it a go. I'd be interested to see what you think, but personally, I'm still sticking with my trusty old tonic. Now then, let's just bring it back down for a second, because let's talk figures, because this, I would have imagined, would have been quite high up. I thought it was going to be really kind of sort of pushing, maybe bursting through my top limits, but it's not too bad. Over in Europe, this is going to cost you 39 of your finest euros. Over here, although I don't think it's available over here to give my British viewers an idea, that's about £34 or 47 American dollars. And yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's still within my £40 bracket, which I like to go to for the smaller distillers. So, and for an experience, for something completely new and really kind of taking you out your comfort zone to something very, very different, I am 100% happy to pay that. So guys, to sum up, I mean, it's one small step for Jim, but one giant leap for old Freeman here, who is who have, as I say, never strode, I think that's the right word, strewed into the realms of bourbon. And it's going to be something I want to kind of move towards, because obviously whiskey is a hugely, and bourbon is a hugely popular thing. I don't think it's ever going to be my thing, and we're certainly going to be sticking with gin on the channel. But I think I'm really interested in that gap that bridges the two very popular drinks. And I think there could be a meeting of two tribes of people there. So it's something we're going to definitely explore in the future. But in the meantime, of course, if you're ever looking to bridge that gap yourself, then my friends, you could do a lot worse than trying the old Albfink aged gin. And I say to Das friends in the Albfink distillery, keep up the good work, minor friends. And of course, guys, as always, if you've enjoyed this video, found it interesting, useful, or informative, don't forget to subscribe to my show, press the little like button on the video and the bell icon so you get notified when all the new videos come out. And if you want to support me, head over to the Patreon page or the old join button below the video. But until next time, guys, you know the drill. Take care, stay safe. Thank you, actually no, I should say Dankeschön, yeah, Dankeschön to all my patrons and members, and keep drinking das Gin.